What's up, Instagram? How you guys doing? It's been a little while since the last live that I did, and I was thinking about the time that I was doing Planeta Emprendedor, which we were doing a live every week with other entrepreneurs. This was in Espanol, which I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed doing those live with other partners, other business owners, trying to understand more about what they're doing in business. However, the reason why we have been quiet is we have been busy. What's up, Mr. Rome? How you doing? I see you there. Good to see you, sir. So I enjoy doing Instagram lives, I really do, but they require a lot of time. And it's one of those things, just like anything, your repetition kind of builds your reputation. So if you are doing social media, make sure that you are on a tight schedule. Make sure that you can continue to be doing it so that you don't skip a beat. And social media, to me, it's about building a community. Yes, everybody in social media, what I've noticed, you're always looking after how many followers people have. And the more followers, obviously, the more people might pay attention to that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a community. And if you are trying to build social media, use it wisely, honestly, understand how to truly build a community and try to have something to add value, not just to become an influencer. It's an interesting tool. It's a very powerful tool that you got to be able to use. And to me, with everything that is happening now in my business, that we continue to be blessed. And now that I'm doing this live here from the Riverside office, let me actually give you a quick tour. This is yours truly, our private office. Here is where we are having all of our seminars. And that is part of what this live is about today. I want to talk to you guys about the seminars that we are doing here at our office. And the next one that we are having on March 12th, I'm excited because we're going to have Rocio Luna, who she had already previously hosted a private Zoom webinar for our little partner agents, which is to learn more about Xmods and EMRS. What are Xmods? What are EMRs? All of you insurance brokers, you need to pay attention to this because it will help you create a better book of business and build, I'm trying to figure this one out, and have a better relationship with your customers in the workers' compensation space. Let me give you a quick tour of what our office looks like here in Riverside, California, before I go into our live, which we are having. Hopefully Rocio Luna gets to connect, and also a good friend of mine, Porfirio Navarro, who he is one of our reps for one of the national carriers that we work with. But honestly, we don't do anything alone. Every time you want to build a business, it's going to require a team effort. And in this case, you can see the wall. You're about to have the names for everybody coming up, but you have Bianca, who's our coordinator of operations. You got Wendy, my wife, who is a co-founder of Leto. You got Anabel Martinez. She's my right hand. She's the manager of operations. You got Rosa Cuen. Let me get the light away. Rosa Cuen, she runs the transportation division. You have Anthony Lopez, who runs the group health division here at the office. David Zuniga, my partner, who runs the financial division along with myself. Hector Ibarra, this gentleman right here, is the vice president of Leto Financial. He's out in Texas. He's being a blessing. God put us together for a reason. So you got the schmuck right here. You got myself. Then you got Julian Garcia, my right-hand CFO. There's no way I can move money outside from this company without checking in with him. And then you have Andre de Gazon, who runs the professional liability. But it takes something higher to put together, higher power to put together an agency like this, a business like this, and it's all glory comes back to God. And when you look at this, to me, this has been essential as to how I move around in business. You got to trust in the Lord with all your heart, and you got to not lean on your own understanding. Think about Him in all your ways, and He will guide you on the right paths. Do not consider yourself to be wise and fear the Lord. Turn away from evil. This is crucial because when I started Leto back in 2016, a lot of the times, and let me just show you this. Let me see if I can bring it up. Julis, who did this piece for us. She's a great artist, everybody. This is a one-of-a-kind piece that once you come and you get to see it at the office, you'll love it, and she can do something for all of you. Bringing it back here to the office. This is where you have one of the private offices. David and Anthony come from here. This is going to be the conference room, and then you have the lunchroom. About what I was saying earlier. When I established this corporation back in 2016, I went through, and I still go through a lot of ups and downs. It's not easy to build a business. And let me just say that I'm proud to say that Leto Financial, we paid over $1.7 million in commissions to our partner agents, which that's what it is to build a business. It's not about the money that you make as an individual. It's about the money that you can help others make. And that honestly brings a different understanding to me of what it is to build a company, what it is to be a CEO. But to be a CEO, once again, I went through a lot of struggles, and that was when I wanted to do things on my own way, on my own understanding. and I wasn't getting the results. And if you are in this situation right now as an entrepreneur trying to figure it out, this is what worked for me. And it's not that he is a lucky charm. It's just I had to understand myself that I couldn't do things on my own, and I needed him. And the faster you can accept God, you can accept Jesus in your life, it will make more sense, and it'll be so much easier to move throughout your path, because it's not the path that you want. Once you understand that it's a higher purpose and he has a better path for you, and you give your life to him and you accept him, then trust me, that's when things begin to happen. But let's see. I don't see Porfirio in the live yet. I don't see Rocio on the live yet. But what I was saying, for all of you insurance brokers, what is going to take place next week on the 12th, Rocio Luna is going to give you a lot of good information as to how to leverage Xmods and EMRs. Every company, when they have a workers' compensation policy, if their payroll is over $200,000, if I'm not mistaken, and this is the one, Rocio is the expert on this, the companies get they get assigned what's called an experience modification rate. And it's kind of like a FICO score, the way I can say it to you. But this rate, it goes from 1 to 100, I believe. And the higher the rates are for the companies, the higher the premium is going to be. Once again, I am not the expert on Xmods and EMRs. Rocio is the expert. And she's going to be covering from 11 o'clock, that's when the doors are going to open, all the way to 2 o'clock. She has a class put together to help you understand it. But what do you do with this information? You have to go out and build new relationships with business owners so that you can help them lower that Xmod rate, which it'll help them lower their workers' compensation premium. And then on top of that, Porfirio Navarro is going to be here from one of the biggest carriers that we work with, our biggest carrier relationships. I don't want to use the name on live because there's a lot of red tape on using their names, but it's one of the biggest carriers that we have a partnership with, and they are supporting this type of seminars that we're putting together for all of our insurance partner agents and non-partner agents as well. Let me try to have Rocio is supposed to connect, and also Porfirio, so that he can give you good information from the insurance perspective. Let me send it to him. I already sent it to Porfirio. Let me make sure I can send it to Rocio as well. And if they can connect, hey, that's fine. I've been doing live for a while, that I think I can have something to kind of keep entertained for a little bit. But then we know social media, everybody's always, we only can have the attention span for only a little bit. Since I'm here and I see some people connected, do you own a business? What are some of the things that you have struggled as far as trying to build your business or trying to build a job? Getting together, fitting into a job culture is always very important. Maybe some of you want to ask a question, and I see that Porfirio just kind of joined the live. Let me send him the request so that he can connect with us. Let me see, Porfirio. Porfirio. Let me see. There you go. I'm invited. And these are some of the cool things about this office. Is we're also working with a lot of business owners, and everybody has different struggles that they go through as a challenge to build a business. That it's better when you do it along with other people as well, and you can kind of bounce ideas back and forth. Porfirio, I don't see you, but do you see me?
I see you, Tony. Give me 1 second here. I'm getting up right here. 1 sec. Can you hear me?
I hear you, brother. I hear you loud and clear.
Yep, I'm coming up right now, guys.
I mean, do you see yourself on your life?
I do. Yep, it's coming up.
But, it does that for, I don't know why it's been doing that with me lately. Whenever we do a live, I can't see the other parties that are joining with me. But as long as you guys are there, that's fine. It's like I'm just seeing myself, and I think I have enough of me on a daily basis. How are you doing, brother? Where you at?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Let me know. Can you see me, by the way?
I don't see you, but if you see me and you see yourself, the live is going. It's just for some reason, it's just my live that is not bringing in your screen.
Okay, that's interesting. Sorry about that, Tony. I'm not sure what's going on.
That's not on you, brother. My phone's been doing that before. Oh, you weren't following me before, Porfirio? I see.
I'm following Leto.
I see. I see. So let me introduce you to the audience. And the beautiful thing about the lives, they happen after the live happens. That's when people get to see this type of content. But Porfirio is a good friend of mine. We're getting to know each other, and we're building a better relationship. He's one of the reps from one of the carriers that we work with, national carriers. We're not going to mention names to avoid any red tape from this live to go out there. but you will be able to meet him on next week on the 12th, along with his counterpart, Eric, from the construction unit.
That's right.
So that people know you're in the small business insurance space. I'm trying to say it without saying who you're with. I'm trying to
Yeah.
find the words, man.
No, thank you, Tony. I appreciate the opportunity to join you here. Yeah, so I'm in the small business space. The carrier I represent is a national company, and they're comprised of a lot of different commercial business units. And I specialize in, again, the small business segment. We've got, large national markets, middle markets, construction divisions, inland marine, ocean marine. So we got the depth and breadth to work with a lot of different types of risks. I'm just one small part of that, albeit I feel like an important part, but I'm really glad to be partnering with you.
Well, brother, let me tell you, I've had the blessing to work with a lot of reps. You know this, being in insurance, and a lot of my audience are insurance brokers as well. It's a blessing when you find a rep that matters, that cares for the business, not just that cares for the product that they're representing, which is huge. You got to do that. But once you understand the business that we go through to build an agency, and you guys add value, like Wendell has added value, like you're adding value, it's a different type of relationship. And the same thing that I'm going to give a shout out to Emilia, who is a rep from another national carrier that I'm not going to mention the name as well. But not all the reps, and some of you are probably following me, and there might be a lot of stones being thrown certain directions. If it hits you, if it hurts you, because the shoe fits. But when you find a rep like yourself that you have been engaging with a group, the way you have been doing, it's different. It's a different relationship because you understand the business that we have to go through. And then you can help us grow the business in the way that the carrier wants the business to grow for their book of business as well, for their portfolio. You mentioned small accounts. For those that are not familiar with the insurance industry, what classifies as a small business in your end on your division? And Rocio, I know you're here. Let me add Rocio, and by the time she plugs in, right now we'll jump into her as well. But what if you can answer that question for me?
Yeah, so it's going to depend on a few different things when it comes to the arena I work in. Again, small business it could be, a mom and pop business. It could also be, somebody that's making up to, $10 million a year. It's going to depend on a few different factors. Premiums. Hey, Rocio.
Hi.
It's going to depend on premium factors. So, at the end of the day, there's a few variables, but for the most part, it's your main street to middle-sized types of businesses.
That's awesome. And how are you being in the insurance space as a representative of a carrier?
Sure. So I've been in the insurance industry about 8 years, but the carrier side about 4. Before that, I was in trucking on a producer side. I was also an independent agent for Aflac, but on the carrier side, mostly on the commercial auto space now. Here at my other carrier, so about 4 years. Yeah.
So, what is happening in the industry, Porfirio? No, I'm not. This question is not a carrier product question. This is an industry question from your perspective, from what you're seeing, because you are exposed to a lot of people that have insight to other sectors of insurance. For that PNC agent that is struggling to transition out of personal lines, and what you are seeing in the commercial sector, what is happening in the business?
Yeah, so there's a few things that are happening. Some things everybody's aware of. Some things I'm just starting to see. So we know there's a lot of consolidation happening from a carrier perspective. There's reinsurance challenges. We're finding that I'm seeing that not every carrier wants to take on as much risk as they used to. But because of that, some carriers are pulling out of California. Because of that, it puts more pressure on insurance agencies, brokers, and even some wholesalers to, unfortunately, start to pick and choose who your partners are really going to be, who's going to be standing with you, shoulder to shoulder, because everybody's asking for more, but everybody wants more of their very specific profitable business. So it's hard to feed everyone, right? I mean, it used to be a thing when you had 50, 60 carriers, but now it's like you can't even have that much because we're seeing the business flow slowing down, and it's just hard to feed all of those. So mergers and acquisitions are also very, very, very much ongoing. We're seeing still a lot of smaller independent agencies who were maybe heavy on the personal lines or personal auto side, if they didn't balance those books of business, and they're choosing not to pivot into commercial lines, then we're typically starting to see those bow out a little bit and maybe sell
Yeah.
to people that are acquiring. So,
And that is 100% correct. We've been talking obviously within our network of agents that we work with. I've been telling them for the past 19 months they have to pivot, but it's hard. It's hard to make the transition. But once you understand the commercial sector, man, that I'd rather be in a commercial retail agency versus a personalized insurance agency because it's a different clientele. And even right now, is your carrier slowing down on new business on commercial, or are you guys actually on the opposite? Are you guys looking for more business comparison to personal lines
you're talking about from my perspective?
from your carrier, the current carrier that you work with?
So we're still we're still growing our book of business, but because not all lines are how do I say as lucrative as other lines, we're having to be more careful. And also, and this is probably for a lot of carriers that are still in the market writing business, because of the amount of non-renewals in the market and distressed business in the market. Not every carrier wants to be holding a big net, catching all of it. So
Mhm.
it's been a challenge. It's like everybody wants to grow, but everybody doesn't want to take on all the bad risk that's floating out there. So, and I'm not speaking for any carrier specifically. I'm just saying that's what's happening in the market right now. It's like it's tough. It's tough to find the right risk because number one, you want to be profitable as a large company, right? Every business wants to be profitable. Nobody wants to be losing money, but it's a balance. It's like we want to grow, but we want to grow good business. So yeah, it's pretty interesting times, and it doesn't make it any easier for the insurance agency brokers, even for yourself. You got to navigate all of these changes and regulatory things. Every carrier's got their appetite. So I really feel for you, Tony. Like it's tough on your side right now.
It is tough for certain divisions, but that's the one thing that we've done is we've understood the industry and being able, having the blessing to wear the hat of a CEO, it's allowed me to create different divisions within the company. So yes, you're right. Personal lines, it is down. However, commercial lines is up. Financial services is up as well. And even we're starting to write more group health insurance space. And that's one of the things that insurance agency owners need to understand, that insurance is not just a homeowners and an auto market. It's a whole business that it breaks down into a whole lot of different sectors. Even the transportation division, premiums are higher, but we're still writing business. So see, that's the difference. Is the blessing that we've done is when one of the divisions is down, we have 5 other divisions that is still bringing in new revenue. And that's what all of you as insurance agents need to understand. If you're working a commercial book of business, it should be an easy transition for you to manage the group health benefits, the company's retirement accounts for them, and the employee benefits, 401ks, qualified plans, which you can implement a lot of these plans with a life license. You just need to understand how to structure the type of policies for business owners within the financial division. And if you already have the licenses, you just need to understand the business. But that's what we've done properly. That's why we have 5 division managers here within Letter Financial. Everybody understands how to help the agents. But then on top of that, what we've done is help them understand how to cross-market their own book of business. How are you going to let those current clients that you're running the commercial book of business, the commercial policies, you need to let them know about everything else that you can do. And that is the difference. That yes, to your question, you feel bad. It's part of the business. It's a lot of sectors that are down, but we are okay because we have revenue coming from all the other divisions.
That's great.
So, and I'm very grateful, Porfirio, that you guys are accepting to come and support us. I wish I could say the name on the live because it is a big name, the carrier that is coming up and supporting this event that we're hosting, which is being the main speaker and the author of an ebook, 3 Harsh Realities. Look at her. She's so, there you go. She heard that. I got her attention now.
I just came back from Hollywood and I literally just sat down right now on my laptop and I had to send some emails. And actually, I was in Hollywood and then I went to Santa Fe Springs and I literally just got back here right now.
So, Rocio, the seminar that we're hosting on March 12th, obviously it comes from you. You are the speaker. You are the author of the ebook, 3 Harsh Realities That Affect Your Workers' Compensation Premium, correct? And what you're going to talk about, you're going to be giving a class to insurance brokers to understand the Xmods and the EMRs. And at the beginning of the intro, I was trying to remember the score for the Xmods and the EMR. What is the score? Goes from 0 to, I said 100, but I'm pretty sure I was wrong.
What do you mean?
The score for the carriers, for the companies, the business owners on the workers' compensation for the Xmod.
What do you mean? Like, what's the range?
Yes, the range.
It could go anywhere from 72 all the way to 2,000.
2,000, man, I was way off. So, but full disclosure, I'm pretty sure I said it wrong.
No,
So you guys can go back and
the standard EMR is like what you said, 1.0, so 100%. That's like the normal.
So see, I have been paying attention. I just need to remember more. The seminar that you were going to be hosting, what can agents expect to learn on next week?
So next Tuesday, agents. So the first part's gonna be like a refresher since we did like a first part with your agency. In this specific portion of the training, it's going to be more about understanding the breakdown of Xmods and also revisions. So a lot of people have questions like how is it, Rocio, that you're able to get money back from past Xmods and get back premium on it. So we're going to be talking about revisions, clean reserves, primary threshold, and how the Xmod is calculated. So there's a specific timeline that the Xmod is calculated. That's called the unit stat date, and that's like the most critical point that every agent should know, because pretty much after the unit stat date, and once the Xmod is published, there's nothing you could do. So there has to be a very rare case, unless someone dies, that they will go back. But once that EMR is published, they're going to use that EMR to calculate the next renewal that you have coming up.
Okay.
So it's really important.
I'm pretty sure a lot of agents, besides wanting to learn all this information, what most of the agents need right now is, how do I monetize this information? Which I know you are doing really good at monetizing, leveraging Xmods and EMRs for workers' compensations. But how can an agent, are you going to teach the agents how to monetize this information as well?
Yes, I'll give them tips on how to do it. Especially, I expect people from all ranges. I've gotten a couple of questions from human resources that's what they do. They sit down with the insurance agent and they review the EMRs. So I'm expecting people from all education levels, either from not knowing EMRs to the very advanced, knowing how it's about. But for agents, yes, I think as an agent, you should know what an EMR is, because that would be a one way to disqualify you, right? It's like, as a business owner, do you want to do business with someone who understands workers' comp and knows the basic understanding and definition of an EMR, or someone who just gives you a quote?
That makes sense. I know Porfirio attended the first webinar that you hosted for our little partner agents. Porfirio, from your seat as a carrier rep, did you learn from Rocio's initial seminar?
I was really impressed. Like, from the start to the end of it, I was really impressed with the knowledge that she brought, and I learned a lot, because I'm not a workers' comp specialist. I was mostly on the heavier transportation side, with some workers' comp experience, but I'm like, that right there, what you were talking about, to me, that's a differentiator. That takes, because what it does is it separates the Me Too agents. I can do that. I can quote versus, here's what I could do for you, and here's why it matters. And that right there, to me, if I'm a business owner, I want to be working with Rocio versus the Me Too agent that I could find in the corner. So that I learned a lot.
That is a very good point, and I think one of the successes that you have, Rocio, is you found your niche. You're really good in the construction space.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult was it for you to break into that space?
Not difficult at all. I come from the claims side, so it was very easy for me to just take everything I learned from the claims, and now, instead of being the person who processed the claims, teaching people about SOPs and employee handbooks and all that good stuff, now go out, speak directly to the business owner, saying, okay, this is exactly why you need to control your EMR. You can't have too many claims because your workers' comp costs are going to go up. And I fell into the construction space, and I have a passion for it because I know how many issues there are. With construction, there's a lot of moving parts. They're always on the road, and accidents are going to happen, especially in the construction field, because it's very heavy duty, and there's things are always going to happen on there. But what I love about it is working hand in hand with the insured and knowing that we have an action plan, and we're gonna get through this together. It's just all about just training and just following the steps.
How do you feel about the seminar that you're going to be hosting next week? To this, you and I have talked about the audiences. This is an audience of insurance professionals versus working with an audience of business owners in the construction space. This is a different audience. How do you feel about giving this message to that audience?
I feel good. I think agents should know more about this. And if there's a way, if I could say one little piece of information to help that person write more business, then I'm going to feel really good, because I'm like, okay, now you took that little piece of information, you switched it, or you learned something. Maybe it uncovered like, okay, this is going to untap. I'm going to do more research about it. Then I'm going to do my own way of how to style it, because every person has a different industry. Maybe people are going after restaurants. Someone else is going after manufacturers. Someone goes after everybody else. So, I mean, there's enough business for everybody. And I just feel like as a community, we should help one another.
100%. I agree with you, and that's part of what Little does, is supporting the agents that we work with to make sure that they can understand how to leverage all the other sectors, like I said earlier, earlier in the conversation. Porfirio, from your seat, obviously you work with other agencies, with other groups. How, from the outside looking into Little, what we are doing compared to somebody else, what are some of the pluses that you can pinpoint, but also not everything always is a plus. And I'm asking you to give me this live, even the negative side of it, which I'm very eager to hear from you, especially in our life. What are some of the differentiations that you see within our group, plus and minus?
Yeah, no, I'll start with the one thing that stuck out from when we first met, and what I've seen continue to this day, and it's something that I wish I would have did when I was an agent, and that's the intention of reaching out and saying, what can we do as an agency to partner with the company you work for? And why that's important from a carrier side is, we're as agencies are going through challenges in the market, so are the carriers, right? But together, when we're working and swimming in the same direction, that's good. That's a good thing. So I can see from what you do and from what you encourage from the rest of your team, there's a true sense of partnership in wanting to build on what we have, to achieve greater and figure out what's around the corner, so that way you can pivot your agency to success. So that's definitely one of the things I've seen from the bat working with you guys. I really appreciate that. So that's not something that I did as an agent. If I can go back in time, I would tell my younger self, work with your carrier partners a little bit closer. I wish I can go back 5 years. I would have did that. So yeah, I think that's one of the bigger things. The other thing is you show a great sense of leadership, and you set the example for a lot of how your team should be operating, and they do a great job of that. So I think, top down, setting the example. I come from that school, set the example, let me be that person, and then hopefully my team would follow. You do a great job of that as well too. So as far as Tony, like some of any negative things, I can't really see any negative things. I think it's just the ongoing challenges of the market, pivoting from selling certain lines of business to selling other lines of business. We all wish things could happen faster, but as we know, there's an education piece involved. And just because, let's say, you get it faster, doesn't mean that a newer agent is going to get it faster. Sometimes that stuff takes just time, right? Like, 6 months to a year before they really start getting it and clicking. And, so yeah, do I wish things could move faster? Of course, but at the end of the day, like, even myself, I'm still growing. It takes me time to comprehend things. So
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing negative, Tony. I think like anything, it's just we're growing together.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate it, Porfirio. And it means a lot coming from you, because I know you're starting to see how we operate as an agency, as a group, and I'm always going to be asking you for your feedback. I really will be and a lot of the feedback that you will provide me with, I will implement it, because that's what's helped us. That's what helped us to grow 100%. I appreciate you for that. Rocio, to kind of end up the live, to bringing it up into a conclusion, if you can give the agents that are going to pay attention to this message the best that you could, inviting them to the seminar, what can they expect? Obviously, from what you've already said, but for them to really comprehend that what we are doing, it's to really help them out. We're not bringing you to this seminar to recruit you. This is not what we're doing it for. We truly understand that the industry is going to a tough position, and we want you to be able to pivot and do as much as you can to write new business and keep your doors open. What can you tell these agents to make the time to come next week on the 12th from 11 to 2 o'clock?
Yes, I think if any for those who are interested, this is a great time to learn. Especially if you haven't really ventured into the commercial space or don't know workers' comp, or you're used to selling, policies under 50K, and you want my flood alarm is going on. You want to get, those larger accounts. If you want to start getting those larger accounts, you need to start learning or start knowing how you can implement the EMR, because these larger construction companies or larger manufacturer companies, that's what they look at. They all have an EMR because they have more than 200K in payroll. So if you want to, get more familiar, know how to land these larger accounts and how you could use the EMR to win business, I totally encourage people to come over and learn.
Thank you for that, Jose. I'm really excited to have you hosting the seminar here at our office in Riverside, California. Porfirio, thank you so much for making the time. Obviously, from your seat, what message would you give the agents that may or may not have access to your carrier, but also they're not pivoting yet into commercial lines? What would you tell them?
Yeah, no, first of all, thank you for having me on here, Tony. I really appreciate it. I think this is a great opportunity for you and for Rocio and for me just to come together as industry partners to try and help each other out and help the community. I think there should be more of this, number one. But number two, I think as newer agents come into the industry and as experienced agents are going through the industry, I think you've got to start taking a look at what do you want to specialize in? It's easy to be a generalist. It really is, right? But where's the differentiator? What's going to make you special? And because of the amount of consolidation that's happening between carriers, the amount of consolidation that's happening, with mergers and acquisitions and brokers, I think it would be a really good idea to say, hey, plant the flag. This is what I want to do. And if you're going to be in the commercial space, typically anything commercial, if you want to round out accounts, if you want to cross market, workers' comp is going to be where it's at. And I would highly recommend attending this session that's coming up next week, because from the first meeting I met with you and Rocio a couple of weeks ago, I got a lot of value out of that. And that's as a carrier. I can imagine being an agent and just kind of taking some tips and tricks from that. It's just going to be very, very helpful for you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Porfirio. I really appreciate it. Well, there you guys have it. Another session of doing an Instagram live. Hopefully we get back to doing them more often.
Yeah.
We'll see where time takes us. Time is limited. However, every time we got a good information to share with all of you, you bet that we'll be sharing it. And I appreciate you, Rocio. I've said it so many times. I appreciate you, Porfirio. I'm looking forward to having this seminar next week on Tuesday the 12th. From 11 a.m. to 2 o'clock. Make sure you find the link to get your ticket. It does have a cost of $75. I believe we are going to provide something to eat, right, Rocio? We're going to provide something to eat for everybody?
Yes.
Awesome. So just make sure everybody take advantage of what we're putting together. And once you get to come on the 12th, you'll see who the carrier is that I'm talking about. Maybe that should bring you over here. If you want to find out the mystery carrier that is backing Leto Financial and Insurance Services on the 12th, I think some of you might be shocked to see who the carrier is. And then I'm extremely grateful to say that you guys are backing us up. I really am, Porfirio. Thank you for making it happen. I know you have to go through a lot of conversations with higher up in the conversation, and hey, it's going to happen. So all of you guys should come to learn the mystery carrier on the 12th.
Hey, we're going to be giving away some free merch. So, that, at least something for the crowd there.
There you go. Which, by the way, is this mystery carrier giving appointments right now in California?
We are not entertaining very many of those, if anything. So you have a very exclusive relationship. I will say that.
Okay. There you guys. You heard it first. You're a little financial.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. God bless. Bye, Rocio.
Bye.
Anything you want to add, Rocio? Anything you want to add?
No.
All right.
All
All
right.
glory goes to who? Goes to God. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right. See you
Bye.
guys later. Bye.